Hollywood is no fairy tale. Hollywood isn't some enchanted kingdom. Here, a kiss on set can burn hotter than real love, and a woman, no matter how radiant she is on the red carpet, can be branded a villain overnight. I've always wondered, how can the same woman be both victim and perpetrator in the same story, and why do we, the audience, swallow these contradictions so easily? Ever heard the whispers trailing behind a starlet as she strides past the crowd, chin high, smile sharp? Those rumors aren't just gossip, they're razor blades, slicing through careers, rewriting destinies. I've seen it happen in real time, a woman's name morphing from rising star to scandal before she even gets a chance to defend herself sometimes. She doesn't even get to speak before they slap the label on her, homewrecker, and once it sticks, good luck peeling it off. The Hollywood of the 80s and 90s was a grand stage where men wrote the scripts and women played their parts: angel, demon, or the other woman. But here's what no one talks about. Those roles weren't just acting gigs. They were survival tactics. Did she want that role? Or was it the only way to survive in a world where power belonged to someone else? I think we already know the answer, we just pretend not to. I'm not here to paint these women as victims or villains. Life's never that clean, and neither is fame. I want to understand them, flesh and bone, desires and mistakes, the quiet rebellions. Today's biographical documentary has been enhanced with AI technology to deliver the most accurate facts and compelling storytelling. While utilizing cutting-edge tools, we guarantee verified sources you can trust, in-depth, detailed narratives, authentic and unbiased content. How did Madonna stare down the sneers, turn contempt into a weapon? How many others tried and got swallowed whole? Why do some stay silent while others flip the world the middle finger? Maybe the difference isn't courage, maybe it's just who got caught. Maybe the truth isn't as simple as she was right or she was wrong. Maybe it's this: Hollywood stole their right to explain. And we let it happen because it was easier than questioning the story. Today, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to ask. What would you do if the world called you a wrecking ball when all you did was love someone you couldn't have? Would you bend? Would you break? Or would you learn to play the game better than they ever could? And maybe no one's ever answered that question bolder than Madonna, the woman who looked straight into the camera and said, "I don't need their forgiveness." But here's the real kicker: she shouldn't have had to say it at all. Madonna, the queen who broke every vow. Hollywood in the 1980s was never a fair game for women, but Madonna stomped through its rules in razor-sharp stilettos. The story of her tear-streaked romances began one morning in 1985, when a limousine carried her to the set of Shanghai Surprise. That's where fate, or recklessness, introduced her to Sean Penn. At the time, Penn was married to Elizabeth Daly, a model actress pregnant with their first child. But Madonna, with that defiant smirk and bedroom eyes, made the Fast Times at Ridgemont High star forget his vows. She came in like a hurricane, Daly confessed in a rare 1992 interview. "One day, Sean kissed me goodbye before work. The next, he was in Madonna's penthouse." 4 months after Penn divorced Daly, Madonna slithered into a scandalously white dress and married him on Malibu Beach. The press called it *the devil's wedding. Years later, in her sex book, Madonna admitted, "I never loved Sean. I just loved winning." That victory didn't last. By 1989, with her marriage crumbling, Madonna didn't hesitate to fall into the arms of Warren Beatty, who was dating Isabella Rossellini. On the Dick Tracy set, their rehearsals grew so heated the director muttered, "Am I shooting a movie or an affair?" But Madonna truly earned her homewrecker legend title in 1994, when she entangled herself with Tupac Shakur, the rap icon at his peak. The twist? Shakur was dating Madonna's own protégé, Jada Pinkett. He told me Madonna threatened to blacklist him if he left her, a close friend of Shakur revealed. As the new millennium dawned, Madonna didn't slow down. In 2008, paparazzi caught her and Alex Rodriguez, Erod, locked in a kiss on an Italian yacht while his wife, Cynthia Scurtis, was home with their 2 toddlers. The New York Post snarled, "Material Girl strikes again." Scrolling through Madonna's romantic resume, a brutal truth emerges, for all her feminist anthems. She never hesitated to trample other women's happiness. As a Harvard sociologist noted, Madonna didn't just break men's vows. She shattered solidarity between women. Even in her 50s. The chaos continued. In 2015, at 57, she flaunted her relationship with 27-year-old model Kevin Sampaio while he was still linked to Tory Lennox. The media gasped. Madonna just smirked. Age is a number, and my heart doesn't see borders. In a 2019 Guardian interview, when asked if she regretted the wreckage left behind, Madonna's gaze turned icy. "I'm not a woman of apologies. But if you want to call me a homewrecker, remember I'm just the mirror this male-dominated world hates to look into." That line wasn't remorse, it was a manifesto. Even her 2019 album Madam X winked at her past with "I don't search, I find. I don't steal / I just take what's mine." 5 decades of scandals, and not a single real apology. Every sorry dripped with defiance, every affair a performance in unrepentant brilliance. As critic Camille Paglia put it, Madonna didn't wreck marriages. She destroyed the very idea of remorse. Angelina Jolie, a perfectly staged love war. Hollywood's golden couple, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, painted the picture of marital bliss in 2004. But behind the glittering facade, a meticulously scripted affair was already in motion. Angelina Jolie, with those smoldering eyes and a smile that promised chaos, slipped into Pitt's life like a storm everyone saw coming but no one could stop. On the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the heat between them wasn't just acting. She always found a way to pull Brad into the shadows between takes, a production assistant later confessed. "Once, I caught them in the dressing room, Angelina whispering something in his ear that turned his face crimson." Meanwhile, Aniston, filming the final season of Friends, kept calling her husband every night, unaware the sweet voice on the other end was echoing from a bed still warm from Jolie's presence. When the scandal erupted, Jolie didn't go for Madonna's brash defiance. She played the long game. By April 2005, the world was slapped with paparazzi shots of Pitt carrying Maddox, Jolie's adopted son, along Malibu Beach. That 4-year-old boy became her perfect pawn. "Brad always wanted to be a father," she murmured to People magazine. "I could give him that." Weeks later, they flew to Ethiopia to adopt Sahara, sparking a media frenzy. But behind the humanitarian glow was ice-cold calculation. In 2016, as Pitt grew weary of their marriage, Jolie made her move. A private jet became a battleground when she accused him of abusing Maddox mid-flight. She knew he was drunk, a flight attendant revealed, but she kept provoking him in front of the kids anyway. Their 6-year divorce laid bare a brutal truth: Jolie wielded those children like weapons. She controlled every visit, even barring Pitt from Maddox's graduation. This wasn't about motherhood. A close friend of Pitt's side. It was a power play with no endgame. By the time the dust settled, Jolie had scripted one of Hollywood's most ruthless affairs. She didn't just steal Brad Pitt, she turned scandal into a career catapult. But the cost? A cavernous mansion filled with silence, where her children would eventually piece together the truth behind their perfect mother. Before she became the other woman in Pitt and Aniston's marriage, Jolie had a history of blurred lines. In 1999, on the set of Pushing Tin, she, then married to Johnny Lee Miller, reportedly entangled herself with co-star Billy Bob Thornton, who was still wed to Laura Dern. A crew member spilled, Angelina made no secret of her obsession with Thornton. They'd vanish for hours into his trailer and return with wrinkled clothes. Months later, Thornton divorced Dern, Jolie's close friend, and married Angelina in a circus-worthy ceremony, exchanging vials of blood as jewelry. But even that crumbled when Jolie adopted Maddox in 2002. Thornton later admitted, "She was always chasing something bigger than love. I was just a stepping stone." This was the pattern. Every relationship, a calculated move toward something: career, children, status. And Brad Pitt? Just the shiniest trophy in her relentless hunt. Her past with Thornton and Miller proved Jolie was no accidental homewrecker. She crafted her femme fatale image with precision, turning each affair into a strategic climb up Hollywood's ladder. And as history shows, none of her past lovers, not even Pitt, got a happy ending. Demi Moore, the shadow behind the spotlight. Hollywood never forgot that fateful night in the late 1980s when Demi Moore, the rising star of Ghost, walked into Bruce Willis's party wearing a red dress like a declaration of war. It wasn't just the start of a scandalous affair, it was the first cut in a trail of broken hearts and tabloid carnage that would define her legacy. On the set of The Seventh Sign in 1987, Moore and Willis turned scripted passion into a very real off-screen romance. The twist? Willis was married to Laura Dern, who'd considered Demi a sister. She'd leave lipstick stains on Bruce's collar on purpose, a set assistant recalled. Laura found one and sobbed all night. Demi just shrugged and said, "Love doesn't play by rules." 3 months after the scandal erupted, Willis divorced Dern amid public outrage. Demi promptly announced her pregnancy and engagement, earning the title Hollywood's most ruthless winner. Post-Willis divorce in 2000, Moore began a string of controversial relationships with younger men. In 2003, she shocked the world by dating 25-year-old Ashton Kutcher, who was still entangled with Brittany Murphy. Demi threatened to blacklist Brittany if she didn't back off, Murphy's friend revealed. Brittany collapsed from stress and was hospitalized. Murphy's mysterious death years later left lingering questions about Demi's role in her unraveling. In 2011, the tables turned when Kutcher cheated on Moore. She collapsed mentally, hospitalized for exhaustion. In her memoir Inside Out, she confessed, "I thought I could outrun age and love's laws. But I'm just a lonely woman now, watching the women whose lives I wrecked live happier than I ever could." At 60, Moore's surgically altered face tells its own story. She traded everything for fame, men, youth, late director Joel Schumacher observed. Now she's left with a shattered soul and a face that can't take any more betrayals. Now 61. The former Hollywood it girl privately admits to drowning in regret. "I lived like I was entitled to take whatever I wanted," she confessed in a rare 2022 interview. "But I sacrificed what truly mattered for illusions." While her 2019 memoir shocked readers with raw honesty about Kutcher, few knew she'd spent sleepless nights agonizing over the truth. "I cried writing about Ashton," she admitted. "Not for what he did to me, but because I'd done the same to others." Sources say Moore repeatedly tried to contact Laura Dern, her former best friend and first victim in the 1987 Willis scandal. All attempts were ignored. "Laura forgave Bruce, but not me," Demi acknowledged bitterly. "And I don't blame her." The post-Kutcher years became Demi's darkest reckoning. Hospitalized for exhaustion and substance abuse, she faced the consequences of her past. "I had to learn to live with regret," she said. "Not to punish myself, but to never repeat those mistakes." Today, she finds solace in her 3 daughters. "They're why I confront my past," she shared. "I won't let them make my mistakes." Her recently updated will leaves most of her fortune to women's and children's charities, a move many see as atonement. For Demi, it's simply what's right. I'm not that reckless girl anymore, she says with a weathered smile. And I'm grateful. Julia Roberts, The Case of the Homewrecker's Redemption. The year was 2000. When Julia Roberts arrived on the set of The Mexican, the evidence was hidden in plain sight. No one suspected that the $1 million smile, fresh off an Oscar win for Erin Brockovich, was about to become the epicenter of one of Hollywood's most damning love affairs. The golden girl of the silver screen had fallen for Danny Moder, a young cameraman who was a married man. His wife, Vera Moder, was a respected makeup artist in the industry. Their initial meetings were veiled under the guise of professional collaboration. She was always finding a reason to stay on set later than everyone else, a director's assistant recalled. One time I found them in the editing room at 2 a.m. Julia was sitting in his lap with a look on her face that left no room for plausible deniability. When the rumors started to circulate, Roberts chose to confront them head-on instead of denying the facts. In a December 2000 interview with People magazine, she stated, "I know what I'm doing. My heart tells me that Danny is the one for me." The admission was like throwing gasoline on an open flame, and it compelled Vera Moder, the lawful wife, to file for divorce and sue Danny for adultery. The consequences were swift and severe. The producers of America's Sweethearts, the film Julia was shooting at the time, received thousands of protest letters. "We had to hire extra security for Julia," director Joe Roth remembered. "She was labeled a homewrecker right there on set." It was during this dark period that a noticeable shift in her behavior began to manifest. In 2002, when she and Danny were officially married in a simple ceremony in New Mexico, Julia turned away every photographer. "I didn't want to turn my happiness into a spectacle after what had happened," she explained to Oprah Winfrey in 2004. The evidence of her transformation was clear in her professional choices. In 2004, she turned down a role in Closer, a film featuring a shocking infidelity plot, despite the director, Mike Nichols, trying to persuade her. "I couldn't portray those scenes," Julia explained, "not after having been the source of similar pain myself." 22 years after the scandal, Julia Roberts is now the picture of a devoted wife and mother. She frequently participates in marriage counseling programs and doesn't shy away from revisiting the errors of her youth. "Sometimes you have to stumble to understand the value of loyalty," Julia shared during a talk at Harvard University in 2021. "But what's important is how you get back on your feet and make things right." The file on Julia Roberts' journey from Golden Girl to homewrecker and finally to a symbol of enduring marriage offers a profound lesson. In the glamorous world of Hollywood, no one is flawless, but everyone gets a chance at a clean slate, provided they have the courage to face the past. Britney Spears, the pop princess and her tangled love affairs. The world fell for a pigtailed teen in Catholic schoolgirl plaid, but behind that baby one more time smile lurked a romantic car crash waiting to happen. Her meteoric rise to global superstardom was matched only by the chaotic trajectory of her personal life, particularly her tumultuous relationships that often played out in the glaring public eye, fueling endless tabloid speculation and public judgment. Her fairy tale romance with Justin Timberlake, 1999 to 2002, curdled when he dropped Cry Me a River, the dagger of a video starring a Britney lookalike. The truth? Messier than fans knew. Their split, initially presented as mutual, quickly devolved into a public spectacle, with Timberlake subtly painting Spears as unfaithful, a narrative that cemented itself in pop culture. Britney was trapped in a teen love triangle with Justin and Christina Aguilera, revealed Steve Dennis' 2006 book Inside the Dream. A 17-year-old drowning in grown-up games. This period marked the beginning of a pattern, Britney's emotional vulnerability exploited for public consumption, a prelude to even darker chapters. The intense scrutiny on her romantic life overshadowed her immense talent and left her little room to navigate her youth and fame privately. Then came the Federline fiasco. In 2004, Britney shocked the world by marrying backup dancer Kevin while his pregnant girlfriend Shar Jackson was carrying their second child. This whirlwind romance, culminating in a heavily scrutinized reality show, further eroded her carefully crafted public image. Britney sent baby gifts before stealing Kevin, a friend of Shar's spat, painting a picture of betrayal and impulsiveness. That 55-hour Vegas sham wedding to childhood friend Jason Alexander, just months before meeting Federline? It was merely the chaotic warm-up act. A fleeting glimpse into a restless spirit grappling with overwhelming fame and a profound lack of true guidance. This period was characterized by erratic choices, signaling a deeper instability bubbling beneath the surface, yet dismissed by many as mere celebrity antics. Paparazzi footage of a shaved-head Britney umbrella walking a car cemented her breakdown in the public consciousness, a visceral symbol of a pop icon losing control. But the real villain, or at least a key orchestrator of her subsequent torment, emerged later: manager Sam Lutfi. By 2008, her father Jamie petitioned for conservatorship, exposing Lutfi's alarming control over her finances, relationships, even her birth control. This legal maneuver, initially framed as a protective measure for a fragile star, soon morphed into a prolonged, suffocating nightmare, stripping Britney of her fundamental human rights and autonomy, all under the guise of her own well-being. 13 years enslaved. Britney seethed in her 2021 courtroom bombshell. Forced IUDs. No marriage. No babies. Just a cash cow for my family. Her raw, unfiltered testimony unveiled the horrifying extent of her subjugation under the conservatorship, revealing systematic abuse of power by those meant to protect her. The public outcry that followed ignited the #FreeBritney movement, demanding justice and her liberation. The fight became a symbol of mental health awareness, bodily autonomy, and the insidious dangers of unchecked legal authority, particularly for those in vulnerable positions. Now 41 and free, she's found calm with third husband Sam Asghari. Though their relationship has faced its own challenges and ultimate dissolution, her path post-conservatorship has been one of reclaiming her voice and narrative. Her 2023 memoir The Woman in Me admits, "I trusted wolves in lovers' clothing. Now I choose myself first." It is a powerful testament to her resilience. A journey of confronting past traumas and asserting her independence after decades of external control. Britney's saga is a noir cautionary tale: how fame's bright lights warp young hearts, creating a petri dish for exploitation and personal collapse. But also this: even broken pop princesses can rewrite their endings, proving that true freedom comes from within, even after the longest and darkest of fights. Her story is a stark reminder of the human cost behind the headlines and the enduring strength required to heal in the public eye. Paris Hilton, the dark artist of scandalous romances. Hollywood operates on one unspoken rule: date Paris Hilton, and your front page news. Since the early 2000s, this blonde heiress has authored a masterclass in engineering tabloid chaos, each romance a calculated move in her grand fame game. In an era before social media democratized fame, Paris Hilton understood the intricate dance between notoriety and influence. She didn't just stumble into headlines, she choreographed them, transforming her personal life into the ultimate reality show, long before reality TV truly dominated. Her relationships weren't merely romantic entanglements, they were strategic alliances, designed to keep her name ablaze in the relentless glare of the celebrity press. She was a pioneer of personal branding through perpetual media presence. It began in 2005 on Saint-Tropez beaches, a setting ripe for scandal. Paris locked lips with billionaire heir Stavros Niarchos, then notably dating fellow tabloid darling Mary-Kate Olsen. The paparazzi shots were timed to perfection, hitting the wires almost instantly, ensuring maximum impact. Paris knew he was taken, an insider revealed, their voice dripping with knowing cynicism. She meticulously planned that encounter and then made sure those photos leaked at midnight, guaranteeing morning headlines across every gossip rag. This wasn't a spontaneous tryst. It was a carefully executed strike designed to send shockwaves through the celebrity ecosystem, instantly elevating her status as a provocateur. It confirmed her power to disrupt existing narratives and claim the spotlight for herself. But that was mere prelude. By 2006, her tactics escalated into a full-blown celebrity skirmish. She ignited a war with Lindsay Lohan by openly seducing Callum Best, Lindsay's latest fling, a move that sent tremors through their tightly knit Hollywood circle. Their feud played out in screaming tabloid quotes and dramatic club confrontations, a public spectacle designed for maximum entertainment value. Lohan's increasingly erratic behavior only fueled the fire, making Hilton appear comparatively controlled, even as she fanned the flames. The ultimate unapologetic power play came when Paris hired a plane to drag a banner over Lohan's house. Oops. Did I steal your man again? It was a brazen, theatrical declaration of war, proving her willingness to go to extreme lengths to dominate the narrative and solidify her position at the top of the gossip hierarchy. This wasn't just about men. It was about territorial claims in the fiercely competitive landscape of A-list celebrity. Then came 2004's nuclear option, the leaked sex tape with ex-Rick Salomon. For most, such an intimate breach would spell career suicide, a retreat into obscurity. Where others would crumble under the weight of public humiliation, Paris, with a chilling pragmatism, monetized the scandal, auctioning distribution rights for a staggering $17 million. It was an unprecedented move, transforming a deeply personal violation into a lucrative business venture. No regrets, she told Larry King, flashing that trademark smirk, a masterclass in defiance. Would anyone remember me without it? This single act not only redefined how celebrities could respond to scandal but also cemented her image as an unshakable force, impervious to conventional shame. It was a calculated risk that paid off astronomically, proving that in her world, even the most damaging blows could be leveraged for greater notoriety and wealth. Her strategic approach wasn't limited to these high-profile feuds. From brief but publicized flings with figures like Nick Carter to the more serious, but ultimately failed engagements to Benji Madden and Chris Zalka, each relationship seemed to serve a dual purpose, fulfilling personal desires while simultaneously generating a steady stream of media buzz. Every public appearance with a new beau was an opportunity for new photos, new stories, and renewed relevance. She understood the continuous demand for fresh content long before the term content creator became ubiquitous. Recent years show a more strategic Paris, married to venture capitalist Carter Reum since 2021, her wild days seemingly behind her. This union, marked by a multi-part reality series documenting their lavish wedding, signaled a deliberate pivot. She shed the dumb blonde persona she famously cultivated, embracing her role as a successful entrepreneur, DJ, and advocate. The relationship shifted from chaotic tabloid fodder to a curated image of stability and domestic bliss, a testament to her enduring ability to adapt and redefine her brand. Yet those early theatrics remain a cautionary tale about fame's Faustian bargains. "I'm not the villain," she later reflected, perhaps with a newfound perspective. "Just a product of an era where scandal was currency, and I learned to trade in it." Paris Hilton's story isn't merely about a string of stolen boyfriends or scandalous hookups, it's a definitive case study in media alchemy, demonstrating how a singular vision could turn relentless gossip into a formidable empire. Love her or loathe her, she penned a defining chapter in 21st century celebrity, influencing countless aspiring reality stars and influencers. And the world? Still taking notes, trying to replicate the formula of the original architect of modern fame. Kristen Stewart, from Twilight darling to Hollywood's Phoenix. July 2012. The paparazzi bomb detonated, grainy shots of Hollywood's Twilight darling, Kristen Stewart. Caught in a stolen embrace with Rupert Sanders, her Snow White and the Huntsman director, and more damningly, a married father of two. The scandal didn't just expose an affair. It ripped open Hollywood's veneer of morality, revealing the brutal calculus of fame, power, and young stars playing with fire. The setup began innocuously on set in 2011. Crew members noted Stewart's after-hours script sessions with Sanders, her fierce defenses of his directorial choices, the lingering touches that clearly crossed professional lines. But no one predicted the thermonuclear fallout when those parking lot kisses hit TMZ. The revelation quickly escalated beyond a mere rumor, becoming a global media crisis that placed Hollywood squarely under the lens of moral judgment. The backlash was swift and brutal. Fans, feeling betrayed, incinerated Twilight memorabilia. Tabloids branded her homewrecker Stewart, a scarlet letter emblazoned across front pages. Sanders' wife, Liberty Ross, filed for divorce within days. Studio heads debated the unprecedented move of recasting her in the Twilight finale. Her career, it seemed, teetered on the precipice of ruin, becoming a textbook example of how swiftly a star's reputation could be obliterated. Yet Stewart did something revolutionary in Hollywood's worn-out scandal playbook. She owned it. That rare, unvarnished public apology, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt I caused," cut through the noise, a stark contrast to the usual PR-spun evasions. There was no calculated spin, no victim act. Just the raw accountability of a 22-year-old who'd gambled and lost. This courageous act, amidst a culture that favored blame and evasion, generated a wave of surprise and a grudging respect from her harshest critics. It signaled an unexpected maturity in a moment of acute crisis. What came next utterly redefined her career. She shed Bella Swan's porcelain skin, chopping her hair into a punk manifesto. Indie films became her baptism by fire. A César Award for Clouds of Sils Maria, making her the first American actress to win France's equivalent of an Oscar, then raw, unflinching performances in Personal Shopper and Spencer, where she inhabited Princess Diana with astonishing depth and complexity. The girl who once sparkled for vampires now smokes cigarettes on red carpets, giving zero damn. Utterly at ease in her own skin. This transformation wasn't a temporary PR strategy but a profound internal shift, reflecting an artist finding her true voice and authentic identity. "I paid dearly for that youthful mistake," she confessed to Rolling Stone in 2020. "But it scorched away who I wasn't." Unlike Paris Hilton's scandal monetization or Angelina Jolie's humanitarian rebrand, Stewart's redemption arc demanded something far more radical, a genuine, internal metamorphosis. She didn't seek to exploit or mask the scandal. Instead, she chose to confront it head-on, leveraging it as a catalyst for her artistic and personal evolution. The lesson in this noir tale? In Tinseltown's cutthroat ecosystem, some scandals destroy completely. Others, if you've got the guts to stare them down, forge something far stronger in the ashes. Kristen Stewart didn't just survive the inferno. She emerged, Phoenix-like, as one of the most compelling and respected actresses of her generation. Her story stands as a vivid testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering power of self-acceptance. Winona Ryder, from Gothic Muse to Hollywood's Phoenix. The spotlight of 90s Hollywood shone brightest on Winona Ryder, the doe-eyed ingenue with a Gothic edge. She was the indie darling, the romantic lead, captivating audiences with her unique blend of vulnerability and intensity. But behind that ethereal image, adored by millions, lurked a personal unraveling that would spectacularly derail her career and exile her from Tinseltown, until an unlikely, hard-won resurrection 2 decades later. Her journey became a stark reminder that even the brightest stars could burn out, only to find a new light within the ashes. The first cracks appeared in 1997 when paparazzi shots surfaced of Ryder entangled with David Duchovny in a hotel room. The scandal? Duchovny was married to Tia Leone, a union considered solid in Hollywood circles. She pursued him relentlessly on the Alien Resurrection set, a crew member confessed, painting a picture of obsessive pursuit. Texts at all hours, knowing he had a wife. The fallout was swift and brutal. Duchovny's marriage nearly collapsed under the intense media scrutiny, while Ryder, once Hollywood's darling, quickly earned the unforgiving tabloid moniker homewrecker Winona. The public's perception of her innocence began to fray, replaced by whispers of a darker, more impulsive side. Before the dust settled on one scandal, she ignited another firestorm in 1998, this time with newly single Matt Damon, fresh from a high-profile breakup after dumping longtime love Minnie Driver. Winona flaunted his engagement ring 2 weeks post-breakup, a friend of Driver revealed, expressing palpable shock and betrayal. Minnie was devastated. She even checked into rehab from the emotional toll. The narrative flipped overnight. Hollywood's beloved ingenue was now being painted as a calculating femme fatale, leaving a trail of broken relationships in her wake. Her carefully crafted image crumbled under the weight of these back-to-back controversies, leaving her increasingly isolated within the industry. Then came December 2001, the death knell. Caught on surveillance cameras shoplifting over $5,000 worth of designer goods at Saks Fifth Avenue. Ryder's disheveled mugshot splashed across front pages worldwide, a grim tableau of a fallen star. A moth flying into the flame, observed ex-Johnny Depp. A poignant summary of her self-destructive spiral. The very public trial and subsequent sentence of 480 hours of community service did more than just halt her career. Effectively blacklisted her. For a decade, she became a ghost, taking on sparse, often unmemorable roles, largely forgotten by the mainstream. She navigated a quiet, introspective period, away from the constant glare, until Stranger Things, 2016, offered poetic justice and a chance at redemption. As Joyce Byers, the fiercely protective, resilient single mother fighting unseen demons, she channeled her own survival story. "I lived as a phantom for years," Ryder told the New York Times, reflecting on her time in exile. "Those falls taught me how to stand again, to appreciate the simple act of existing." Her raw, authentic performance resonated deeply with audiences, not only rekindling nostalgia for her past work but also earning new fans who empathized with her characters, and perhaps her own, struggles. By her 2020 Golden Globe nomination for The Plot Against America, the transformation was complete. No longer just a comeback kid, Winona Ryder had cemented her place as a respected, enduring talent. Now a mentor to young actors, she delivers hard-won wisdom from her remarkable journey. Hollywood forgives, but only if you face your demons head-on, own your mistakes, and truly learn from them. Her presence on set offers a tangible lesson in resilience. Ryder's arc isn't just about redemption, it's a masterclass in reinvention. From gothic muse to scandal casualty to respected artist, she proves no fall is fatal for true talent, especially when coupled with self-awareness and perseverance. As she once wisely said, sometimes you need to lose your way to find your path. Her story remains one of Hollywood's most compelling testaments to the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. Scarlett Johansson, the cracks behind Marvel's Golden Goddess. The world knows her as Black Widow, Hollywood's untouchable siren and Marvel's billion-dollar weapon. she commanded the screen. Embodying strength and allure, a symbol of cinematic power. But behind the red carpet glow and the dazzling blockbusters lies a battlefield of broken vows, 3 marriages collapsed by age 36. Each a brutal lesson in balancing relentless stardom with the delicate demands of intimacy. Her seemingly perfect facade concealed a deeply human struggle to reconcile her monumental career with a yearning for personal connection. Her first union with Ryan Reynolds, 2008 to 2011, played like a studio rom-com, 2 rising stars, both fiercely ambitious, meeting on set. Their whirlwind romance captured public fascination. A golden couple seemingly destined for Hollywood royalty. Yet, the curtain fell abruptly in just 3 years. "We were kids drowning in ambition," Scarlett later admitted. Her voice tinged with a hindsight's wisdom. "Ryan needed a wife, I kept vanishing into film sets, consumed by the roles." The divorce was famously civil, a rare feat in Tinseltown. But the underlying message was clear: her burgeoning career, her relentless pursuit of artistic challenges, was a marriage killer. It highlighted the immense pressure on power couples in an industry that demands absolute devotion. 2014 brought French journalist Romain Doriac a deliberate pivot from the glitz and familiar terrain of Hollywood royalty. This seemed to be a conscious attempt to build a life away from the public eye, seeking an intellectual connection. Their daughter Rose arrived swiftly, a symbol of new beginnings. But so too did the cultural landmines. The quiet life she sought was soon complicated by clashing worlds. "I wanted LA, he demanded Paris," she recounted. Painting a picture of an irreconcilable divide rooted in vastly different lifestyles. The 2017 split turned nuclear, 2 years of bitter custody battles played out in the media, fueled by leaked texts that laid bare their private turmoil. Scarlett's choked confession, "The darkest period of my life," revealed the profound emotional toll this public and private war took on her, far beyond the typical celebrity breakup. This messy chapter profoundly reshaped her view on privacy and vulnerability. Then, the plot twist, a development few anticipated. In 2020, she married SNL scribe Colin Jost, not a leading man or a fellow movie star, but a peer who genuinely understood the relentless grind of the entertainment industry without competing for the same spotlight. Their connection seemed rooted in shared humor and mutual respect. A calmer port after stormy seas. Their son Cosmo arrived in 2021, marking Scarlett's hardest-won role yet. A woman who finally stopped chasing fairy tales and instead built a partnership based on understanding and acceptance. This union marked a significant shift, demonstrating her evolution from seeking external validation to finding internal peace. "Youth makes you believe you can have it all," the now 38-year-old reflects, her voice imbued with a newfound clarity. Truth? Every choice has casualties. Her story lays bare Hollywood's dirty secret: even goddesses bleed in the relentless war between love and legacy. It's a brutal testament to the sacrifices demanded by unparalleled fame. But as Johansson proves, sometimes the third act, built on hard-earned wisdom and genuine connection, is worth all the wreckage and the difficult lessons learned along the way. Her journey is a testament to resilience, showing that even after public heartbreaks, one can find their most authentic self and define happiness on their own terms. Jennifer Lopez, the relentless pursuit of love in the spotlight. 4 marriages. Countless whirlwind romances. One unstoppable career. Behind Jennifer Lopez's glittering facade lies a romantic saga more dramatic than any of her films, a relentless quest to balance global superstardom with personal happiness. For decades, the world has watched, fascinated, as J.Lo navigated a life lived under an intense microscope, where every relationship, every heartbreak, became front-page news. Her story is a testament to unwavering ambition, both professional and emotional, and the often painful lessons learned in trying to merge them. Her first misstep came in 1997, a hasty marriage to waiter Ojani Noah after just 6 months of passionate, whirlwind courtship. "We were young and reckless," she later reflected, acknowledging the impulsiveness that often characterized her early romantic choices. The union lasted barely a year, dissolving amidst legal battles and public scrutiny. Delivering her first harsh lesson about rushing into love and the complications that arise when personal life collides with burgeoning fame. The pattern repeated in 2001 with dancer Chris Judd. This time, her skyrocketing career became the undeniable wedge. Lopez was not merely famous, she was a multifaceted empire, a pop star, an actress with hit films, a burgeoning fashion icon. "I was filming 3 movies a year while he wanted a traditional wife, someone to be home more," Lopez told Oprah, revealing the irreconcilable clash between her immense ambition and his more conventional expectations. 9 months later, another divorce. Underscoring the challenge of finding a partner who truly understood her unparalleled drive. Then came the explosive Bennifer era with Ben Affleck, Hollywood's golden couple of the early 2000s. Their romance was a supernova, capturing global imagination with its undeniable chemistry and high-wattage glamour. Their $6.1 million pink diamond engagement captivated the world, only to collapse under the suffocating weight of intense media scrutiny in 2003. "We were too young to handle that pressure," Lopez admitted years later, reflecting on the relentless paparazzi and constant headlines that overwhelmed their private connection. Seeking solace and a retreat from the relentless media circus, she married longtime friend Mark Anthony in 2004. For 7 years, they built a family with their beloved twins, Emmy and Max, while Lopez notably scaled back her career. "I canceled tours, turned down roles," she confessed, highlighting the profound sacrifices. "But losing myself to save a marriage? That never works. I learned that I have to be my whole self to be happy in a relationship." This period, though ending in divorce, was crucial for her personal growth. The years following her split from Anthony saw other significant relationships, including choreographer Casper Smart and, notably, baseball legend Alex Rodriguez. Each romance played out under the glare of the spotlight, fueling engagement rumors and tabloid speculation, yet none provided the lasting foundation she yearned for, reinforcing the complexities of her quest. In a stunning twist, 2021 saw Bennifer's revival, 2 decades wiser, more mature, and seemingly unburdened by their past. Their 2022 Vegas wedding was strikingly modest compared to their first spectacle, a clear indication of their evolved priorities. "We've learned happiness comes from authenticity, not showmanship," Affleck told People, echoing a sentiment Lopez herself had clearly embraced. This reunion felt like a cosmic full circle, built on a foundation of mutual understanding forged through separate journeys of self-discovery. Now at 54, Lopez has finally found equilibrium, still dominating charts and screens with her unparalleled work ethic, while nurturing hard-won domestic bliss with a partner who truly sees and supports her. "True love shouldn't require sacrificing who you are," she says, a powerful statement born from decades of experience. Her journey proves that even icons must sometimes lose love, repeatedly, to ultimately find it, and more importantly, to find themselves along the way. Her story is a vibrant testament to resilience, self-discovery, and the enduring power of hope. Looking back at the case files of 10 Hollywood starlets, from Madonna to Angelina Jolie, to Jennifer Lopez, a chilling common thread emerges in the dazzling world of the spotlight. Personal happiness remains the most elusive quarry. The romantic scandals, the shattered marriages, the hurts inflicted or endured, all reflect a brutal truth. Fame and power cannot purchase authentic love. These individuals, possessing every material comfort, appear to pay an exorbitant price for genuine emotional connection. It's a tragic paradox at the heart of this colossal entertainment machine. It's undeniable that many of the subjects in these files actively disrupted others' relationships, driven by impulse or a stark lack of foresight. Yet, one must acknowledge Hollywood itself as a treacherous environment. A labyrinth where the line between true affection and desperate loneliness often blurs to a dangerous degree. The relentless pressure, the ceaseless travel, the intimate confines of film sets, these factors can erode moral boundaries. The intense emotions demanded by acting often prove difficult to disentangle from one's personal life. No one is solely a victim, nor entirely a perpetrator. These narratives are far more complex than a simple label of homewrecker or destroyer. They are the volatile outcome of clashing personal desires, suffocating public pressure, and an industry riddled with relentless trials. A crucial piece of evidence in this investigation is the glaring double standard. Hollywood men, such as Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, frequently accumulate a similar list of romantic scandals, high-profile breakups, and overlapping relationships. Yet, they are rarely condemned with the same vitriol, rarely branded with negative labels, nor do they face the same severe career repercussions as their female counterparts. This is a stark consequence of deeply ingrained gender bias. Society remains far more eager to punish women for romantic missteps than men. If a man has a string of affairs, he's often dubbed a debonair playboy or a charming ladies' man. Conversely, if a woman does the same, she's instantly branded a homewrecker, a husband stealer, or a promiscuous woman, and held in contempt. This injustice isn't confined to Hollywood, it reflects biases embedded deep within societal culture. And it demands re-evaluation for the sake of true equity in personal judgment. Genuine happiness should never be built upon the wreckage of another's pain, whether a celebrity or not. Respecting boundaries in relationships, especially when a third party is involved, remains fundamental to a healthy moral compass. Inflicting harm for personal gain rarely yields lasting positive outcomes. However, the human capacity for change and growth is undeniable. Many of the female stars in these files, like Julia Roberts, Kristen Stewart, and Jennifer Lopez in her fourth marriage, have demonstrated their ability to learn from mistakes, confront their pasts, and make better choices for their futures. Their resurgence serves as a powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity for adaptation and correction. Hollywood will forever remain a dramatic stage, where tales of love's collapse and its improbable rebirth will continue to capture global attention. But through these narratives, perhaps the greatest lesson is this: regardless of who you are, treat love with sincerity and respect. Because ultimately, true happiness doesn't emerge from scandal or superficial display, but from the simple, profound realities of understanding, genuine connection, and a stable foundation built on authentic values. You might be a dazzling star on screen, but in the realm of love, we are all just human beings, vulnerable, yearning for connection, and desperately in need of understanding. That is the undeniable truth behind the curtain.